Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
Imagine one year that was incredibly long. It was not just a few days extra, but 445 days long. This truly happened in 46 BC. A very powerful Roman leader, Julius Caesar, was the man who made it so. He decided to make that year longer on purpose. He did this because the old Roman calendar was completely broken. It was so bad that the seasons and festivals did not match the correct times of the year anymore. Caesar saw this as a chance to show his great power. He tried to control time itself, using it like a tool to fix things and make them right. We will learn why the calendar was in such a messy state that it needed such a drastic change. Caesar's solution was new and strong. He created what he thought was a perfect calendar. But even his great plan had a small mistake. It was wrong by just 11 minutes every year. This error was tiny, so small that people did not notice it for more than 1,500 years. Because of this small error, a leader called a pope later had to make 10 days vanish from the history books. People simply went to bed on one day and woke up many days later. But before we hear about those 10 lost days, we must first understand something important. Why was the new year moved to January 1 in the first place? There was a hidden political reason for this change. It was not about nature or seasons. This reason shows us that time was never just a neutral measure. It was always connected to power and politics. 2. A line in time. Long ago, people watched nature to know when a new year started. For example, in ancient Egypt, the new year began when the great Nile River flooded. This also happened when the bright star Sirius appeared. For Babylonians, their New Year festival came in spring, when farmers planted new crops. The Chinese used a calendar based on the moon and sun, with their New Year in late January or mid-February. These ways felt natural because they followed the world around them. But why did humans stop following nature? Why choose January 1st, a cold date not linked to seasons? This choice was not about nature. It was about power. Around 153 BC, Roman leaders changed the new year. New government officials needed to start work earlier for military plans and to run the city. So January 1st became the new year. It was a political decision. Showing time could be used as a tool. Julius Caesar saw the Roman calendar was very confused. Festivals were happening in the wrong months. So, in 45 BC, Caesar worked with Sosigenes, an astronomer from Alexandria. They created the Julian calendar. This new calendar was based on the sun and was very smart. It added one extra day every 4 years, a leap day. This system was simple and stable. It helped Rome for over 1,600 years, with January 1st as the start of each year. However, Caesar's calendar had a small flaw. His astronomers thought the year was 11 minutes longer than it truly was. 11 minutes seems like nothing. No one could feel this difference quickly. But this small error kept growing over time. It added up, second by second, century after century. For 1,500 years, that extra 11 minutes slowly pulled the calendar away from real time. Seasons began to move, and holidays no longer matched the right months. A big problem was forming, needing a bold solution: removing days from the calendar. 10 lost days. Julius Caesar's calendar, a great step forward, held a tiny secret flaw. His astronomers miscalculated the year by only 11 minutes. For 1,500 years, this small error slowly added up. The calendar drifted away from the true seasons. By the year 1582, the date was 10 full days behind reality. Spring began on the wrong day, and the important Christian holiday of Easter fell at the wrong time of year. The leaders of the Church knew they had to act. Pope Gregory XIII made a bold decision to fix this growing problem. In October of 1582, he ordered 10 days to be simply removed from the calendar. People went to bed on Thursday, October 4th, and woke up the next morning on Friday, October 15th. Overnight, those 10 days were gone from everyone's lives. This created great shock and confusion. Many people felt that their time had been stolen or that their lives had been cut short. Some believed it was a papal trick or even a conspiracy. There were reports of riots and anger as people struggled to understand what had happened to their lost days. This calendar change was more than just a scientific correction. It quickly became a religious and political issue. Catholic countries in Europe adopted Pope Gregory's new calendar right away, but Protestant nations like England refused to accept it for almost 200 years. They saw it as the Pope trying to control their lives and their time. They chose to live on a different timeline out of pure resistance. This meant that for centuries, people in different countries were literally living on different dates, creating a fractured world where time itself was not universal. While governments argued and countries lived by different calendars, a deeper human desire still shaped everyone's actions. This was the powerful psychological need for a fresh start. Despite all the confusion about dates and all the political battles, the idea of a new year, a moment to begin again, remained irresistible. Even if the date was arbitrary, people clung to the hope it offered. 4. The fresh start. The fresh start effect is a real thing. It helps explain why many people feel new energy on January 1. When a new year begins, our minds see it as a fresh page. It feels like a chance to leave past mistakes behind. This feeling is strong. It makes us want to set new goals, like exercising more or learning new skills. When we set goals, our brain releases dopamine. This is a chemical that makes us feel good and motivated. It gives us hope for the future. Studies show that more people search for diet and visit gyms in early January. This shows how strong the fresh start feeling is. It is not just wishful thinking. It is a real effect on our brains. Our minds separate the old me from the new me at this time. But here is a question. If this feeling is so real, why do many people fail their New Year's goals? More than 80% of resolutions do not last. This seems strange if the hope is so strong. We will think more about this later. The new year is important for another, deeper reason. Humans know that their lives will end. This knowledge can be hard to live with. The end of a year reminds us that time passes quickly. One more year is gone. This can make us feel worried about things we cannot control, like our own lives passing. So the new year helps us deal with this. It gives us a chance to think, a new year is beginning. I have a chance to become someone different. We hope to remake ourselves and feel in control. This belief helps us feel better. This strong desire for a fresh start can also be difficult. The pressure to make big changes can sometimes hurt people. Many set goals that are too hard to keep. For some, New Year's Day can be very hard, even dangerous. We will talk more about this broken promise effect in Chapter 6 when we look at the dark side of New Year's. For this global ritual of a fresh start to work, every person on the planet had to agree. They had to start the new year at the exact same moment all around the world. This was a very hard thing to do, something once thought impossible. How did people manage to make a global clock start together? 5. The global clock. For many years, each city had its own time, set by the sun. If you traveled, your clock would be wrong. This was not a problem then. But with trains, exact times became important. To make trains run across long distances, all towns needed to agree on the same time. In 1883, America started standard time zones for trains. In 1884, the world agreed on a main time zone through Greenwich, England. People drew lines on maps, and everyone in one zone used the same time. This was a huge step for human organization. Today, the new year moves around the world, from east to west. In New York, the Times Square ball drops at midnight, timed by special atomic clocks. These clocks are very precise, losing only 1 second every 30 million years. They help everyone celebrate at the exact moment. Many things happen because of this global celebration. People drink around 360 million glasses of champagne. Hotels and flights are fully booked. Cities spend millions on fireworks. Millions of people travel to celebrate in big cities. In Times Square, thousands of pounds of confetti fall. This shows how people agree to celebrate together. The international date line shows how time is an agreement. This imaginary line in the ocean changes the day if you cross it. You might gain or lose a day. You can even fly and celebrate New Year's more than once. This proves the year is not natural, but something we all decide. This global party seems like a great success. But there is a hidden truth. For millions, when the clock strikes midnight, it does not bring joy. Instead, it can bring deep sadness. This time is one of the most difficult and dangerous days of the year for some, filling emergency rooms. 6. The dark side. New Year's Day is not a happy time for everyone. In fact, it can be quite dangerous for some people. A big study looked at many suicides over many years and across 26 countries. It found that the risk of suicide goes up by 33% on New Year's Day. This is much higher than on normal days throughout the year. It's a sad truth that is often not talked about, as it goes against the idea of universal joy for the holiday. In Chapter 4, we talked about the fresh start effect. This is when people feel new hope and want to make changes at the start of a new year. This feeling can be very strong. But for many, this strong hope can quickly turn into trouble. Society puts a lot of pressure on everyone to be happy, to celebrate, and to make big plans for self-improvement on New Year's Day. People are told this is a magical time for new beginnings and a fresh start. However, what happens if a person is already sad, lonely, dealing with grief, or struggling with mental health problems? For them, the loud message of New Year's joy and transformation can make their feelings much worse. They might hope for a big change, but nothing truly changes when the clock strikes midnight. This creates a large, painful gap between what they hoped for and their real-life situation. This gap is known as the broken promise effect. The difference between the promised renewal of the new year and their unchanging reality can become too much to handle. The cultural idea that anyone can change if they just want it enough can make someone feel that their sadness or problems are their own fault, making them feel even more hopeless. The holiday also brings hidden health risks. Around New Year's Eve, many people drink more alcohol than usual. They often do not get enough sleep, feel more stress, and eat foods high in salt. This mix can lead to a serious problem that doctors call holiday heart syndrome. This means that even healthy people who do not usually have heart problems can have sudden issues with their heart. Their heart might beat too fast or in an irregular way. They might feel chest pain or shortness of breath. This shows that the body can pay a high physical price for the stress and excesses of this yearly celebration. So, for a large number of people, this special day brings more than joy and new possibilities. It brings intense social pressure, deep sadness, and even physical dangers. We seem to be stuck in this yearly cycle of great hope followed by despair, all tied to a date that is, in truth, chosen by humans and not by nature. Is there a way out of this pattern? Can we find a different way to mark time that does not cause such harm? Some thinkers and engineers are now working on building a very special clock. It is designed to run for 10,000 years. This amazing project makes us wonder, will the concept of a new year as we know it, with its yearly promises and pressures, even survive our own time? Or will we find new ways to think about beginnings and endings? 7. The future of time. A very special clock is being built inside a mountain in West Texas. This clock is made to run for 10,000 years. It is called the Clock of the Long Now. Jeff Bezos, a famous leader, invested $42 million into this big project. Why build a clock that will last so much longer than a human life or even our current civilization? The idea is to make us think differently about time. Today, we often focus on short periods, like weeks or years. This clock wants us to think about deep time, meaning thousands of years. It asks us to consider how our actions today might affect the far future. Our world today is full of digital technology. Phones and computers constantly send us new information and notifications. This changes how we feel time passes. Life seems to move much faster than before. The old, calmer rhythms of life are disappearing. Digital devices now fill almost every free moment. Because of this constant flow of updates, the traditional New Year, with its single yearly reset, might seem less important. Is it becoming old-fashioned in a world of constant digital updates? So, what will happen to the new year? There are three main ideas for its future. One idea is that it will become very high-tech. Imagine apps that track your resolutions. Artificial intelligence could even predict if you will keep your promises. The fresh start feeling would be stronger, pushed by smart machines. Another idea is that the new year will become less important. Younger people who have always lived with fast technology might not see a need for it. Why wait until January 1st? They could start new goals any day with digital help. A third idea is that we will have many different ways of marking time. Most people use the Gregorian calendar, but many cultures have their own. Some follow the moon for their new year, and these are still important for billions. We might see a future where more groups celebrate their own New Years, and not everyone focuses on January 1st. This means many different times and celebrations could exist together, creating a richer world. We have looked at the New Year's past, its present, and some possible futures. But to understand its true purpose, we must look back. We need to remember a time when people thought the calendar would cause a great disaster, like the end of the world. This fear showed us a deep human need. 8. The story we tell. In 1999, many people around the world worried about Y2K. They thought computers would stop working when the year changed to 2000. Some believed planes would fall from the sky, or banks would lose all their money. There was a big fear that a simple calendar change could cause the end of the world as we knew it. But on January 1st, 2000, nothing bad happened. Life continued as normal. This event showed us something very important. It showed that we often put our biggest worries and hopes about the future onto the calendar. The calendar is more than just a way to count days. It is how humans give meaning to the messy flow of life. It helps us turn the confusion of time into a clear story with chapters like a book. All the things we have talked about, the old Roman calendar, the days that disappeared, our wish for a fresh start, and the global clocks, they all point to one truth. The new year is not a natural fact. Instead, it is a special technology of hope. It is a story we create for ourselves. This story helps us make sense of the world and find order in it. It is a necessary fiction, a kind of make-believe that gives us permission to believe that we can make changes in our lives. The new year helps us deal with the scary idea of time passing and that we are not here forever. It is our main way to deal with the fear of time. Even if the date is just an idea and not real, the hope it creates is very strong. This hope is real and important. Maybe it is even needed for people to survive and live well. We keep making new plans and trying again, even if we know it can be hard. We do this because giving up on change is too sad to accept. What new story will you tell yourself this coming new year?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.